Quack, 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 quack. You know the rest.
Because that's how you get ants.
The year was 1992. I was but an impressionable youngster when a by-the-numbers, possibly even cliché sports movie changed the course of one Michigan neighborhood forever. This little Disney film would go on to inspire 2 sequels, an animated series, and even a real-world National Hockey League team now known as the Anaheim Ducks. But of course, my fondest memory is of the street hockey games it inspired in a small town next to Grand... Car. I'm sure I'm not alone in my fondness for the Mighty Ducks, and all that came after. I mean, I sort of vaguely remember the animated series. Let's see if we can... Oh, right. Some kind of Ninja Turtles knockoff with anthropomorphized ducks playing hockey and fighting crime. My God, what even were the 90s? Did anyone have any idea what they were doing? But look at this voice cast. Clancy Brown, Brad Garrett, Tim Curry. What a time to be alive! The Mighty Ducks was also responsible for fostering an entire generation's fascination with the greatest music franchise of all time. I am, of course, referring to Jock Jams. You may be thinking to yourself, Kate, this movie unleashed so many additional properties and products. How does it end up on anything nice to say? Well, I'll tell you. The critics railed against it. The Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 23%, which is only 3 points higher than Cats, and we all know how much the critics love to hate that movie. Today, we see if we can find anything nice to say about the Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
The movie opens on a scene that any kid who plays sports as a child will understand. It's the championship game, everything's down to the wire, and the game is in your hands. In this case, it's young Gordon Bombay taking a penalty shot on goal. He gets told that everything's resting on him by his coach, who you'll all recognize as editor of the Daily Planet, Perry White. No Lois and Clark fans? Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher? Nothing? The puck wings off the goalpost. He missed the shot. Fast forward to adult Bombay, played by Emilio Estevez. He's an attorney, a pretty brutal and competent one. We see what the emphasis of winning and competition did to him. He wins his case, and we find out he's undefeated in the courtroom, except for maybe one case. His boss, Duckworth, gets mad at him for hot dogging. Do we still do lawyer jokes? Bombay is really good at his job. He's only lost one case. This movie is a journey on explaining to us why Bombay needs to have a compassionate adjustment, but he's good at his job. He seems to have a rapport with the lower level employees at his film, so it's not like he's a jerk to the lower classes. He's cocky, I guess, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Honestly, it feels like his fatal flaw is guilty of lawyering. Is that the worst thing in the world? I was a child. Were we really so unsophisticated in the 90s? Bombay then goes out for some celebratory drunk driving. Like, he's actually chugging a beer while he peels out from the curb, which is kind of intense for a PG movie. He pleads down to community service, a move negotiated by Duckworth. Duckworth says he wants Bombay to do the community service to learn some compassion and become a better lawyer. I mean, when has that ever been a thing? A partner at a law firm wanting his employees to be more compassionate? If we're gonna go with the lawyer jokes. We cut to the lovable loser hockey team. This movie stars every child actor from the 90s. If you were in the Mighty Ducks, you were probably in Heavyweights, First Kid, the Mighty Ducks 2. And then there's Joshua Jackson as Charlie, who went on to be a creek-dwelling teen heartthrob. The team is composed of a bunch of losers. Bombay tries to get out of it. He goes to his first game, which is against his old team, the Hawks. We see more of what the coach instills in the kids. Winning is everything. If you don't win, it's not worth doing. The Ducks lose. Hard. Instead of actually teaching them anything, Bombay tries to teach them how to cheat. Charlie refuses to fake an injury. The Ducks lose again, but this time Bombay gets yelled at by the parents for his tactics. He goes to visit Hans, who owns a sports shop. This sports shop. I mean, it's kind of shocking that Hans is not this guy.
Big summer blowout?
We get the backstory on Bombay. The year he missed that goal was the same year his father died. It sort of seems like he was looking for a father figure wherever he could find it. Hans, his coach. Well, his coach always insisted on winning. Hans was the for the love of the game guy, for the joy of being out on the ice. He gives Bombay a pair of skates. Bombay goes for a little skate and contemplation to reflect on his life. With most younger sports movies, the theme of winning versus having fun is always present, but Bombay gets an arc about adults reconnecting with things that made them happy as children. A lot of kid-targeted movies have the theme about getting in touch with your inner child, but in Bombay's case, he's connecting with specific moments and activities that linked him to his father. He even lays in the snow staring at the sky and thinking, which, if you've never done that, I would definitely recommend it. With all this reconnecting to childhood talk, I'm not saying I have the urge to slap on a pair of rollerblades and challenge the local youths to a no-holds-barred street hockey match, except yes, and film it. But I do think it's important for movies that skew toward a younger audience to include more adult themes. Even if the target audience doesn't pick up on it, a lot of times something gets through. And let's face it, being an adult sucks. There's bills, taxes, laundry, making your own dinner like every night, rent, jobs, unappreciative bosses who are more beaten down by life than you are. Why is it so hard to cancel a gym membership? Bombay gets Duckworth to sponsor the team. The kids get new uniforms. They hate the name the Ducks at first, but Bombay gives them a rousing speech to inspire them. So there it is. The Anaheim Ducks got their name from something that's not even really a pun in a 1992 Disney movie. They recruit a few more players, including one of the Petes from The Adventures of Pete and Pete and the king of the slapshot, Fulton. They have to teach Fulton to skate, so there's a scene of the team skating through the Mall of America, which, come on, who didn't dream of doing that? The team starts to improve. Bombay lawyers the Hawks out of their best player when it's revealed the district lines have been redrawn. Some of the kids overhear Bombay calling them a bunch of losers, but miss the part where he says, "But they're my losers." The team abandons him, and just as they were getting some traction, they're forced to forfeit. Duckworth is pals with one of the Hawks' parents and tries to get Bombay to retract his complaint about the districting. Bombay refuses and starts quacking at Duckworth. At the same time, the kids get into a fight at school and end up doing their quack chant at the principal. Bombay shows up at the school to find them all in detention writing "I will not quack at the principal," Bart Simpson style. There's a love story thrown in between Bombay and Charlie's mother that sort of hammers home the theme of coaches as replacement father figures. It's not really necessary, and it's pretty inconsequential. It's like they wanted to do it, but then they didn't. I feel like that story gets dropped in the Mighty Ducks sequels because in the second one, he's with the Iceland coach. Did that happen? With a little bit of luck and some actually pretty good coaching, the Ducks make their way to the playoffs. The final game is against the Hawks, and it's rough. The don't lose attitude sees the Hawks intentionally injuring players, including their former teammate Banks, who is taken out by the EMTs. In a move mirroring Bombay's failure, Charlie gets a penalty shot. Instead of emphasizing winning, Bombay tells him to just do his best. It's the completion of his character arc. His boss was right. He has become a more compassionate person. Charlie does the triple deke and scores. The Ducks are champions. We end with Bombay getting on a bus to try out for the minor league hockey team. It seems he's chasing his dream after all. While the critics hated it, The Mighty Ducks was one of those generation-defining films. What millennial doesn't know what the flying V is? Who didn't try to nail slap shots in their driveway? What self-respecting human didn't have a crush on Fulton? No? Just me then? If you played sports as a kid, these are the same kids you played with. You had the loudmouth, the complainer, the spaz, the all-star. They're archetypes, not cliches. These tropes exist in movies because they play out in real life in similar ways. The Mighty Ducks may not have been well received by critics, but it had the last laugh, launching a bevy of properties to become something greater than itself. It sort of backs up my theory that critics hate joy. In streaming platform news, a live-action Mighty Ducks series will be coming to Disney+. Emilio Estevez is attached to direct one of the episodes, so if you want your duck fix, stay tuned. I mean, let's be honest, who doesn't need more duck puns in their lives? That's all for this episode of Anything Nice to Say. Remember, ducks fly together, and never be ashamed to like what you like. To like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon to get your name in the credits, early access to videos, bonus content, and more. Check out our merch store for all things related to Anything Nice to Say. Don't forget to pick up my book, Live Like Legends, on Amazon because shameless self-promotion. If you have a movie about which you would like us to find anything nice to say, be sure to leave it in the comments.